welcome to the Slippy Limpets video. Today we're down on the rocks chasing Pollack. I was here, well, it's a couple of weeks back now. Not this exact mark, I've never fished it before, but I was in the same location and I was trying to find a more direct route down to the place that I fished in my previous video. But I must have took a wrong turn. So I found a way down here anyway and saw this nice sort of platform. So we're going to fish this, see what it throws up. I've got two rods with me. I was hoping for, well, the forecast was for like 5-6 mile an hour winds. We've got quite strong gusts coming, which is unfortunate because I brought out my new LRF rod, which I was really quite excited to chuck about. So I'm going to give it a go anyway, see what the wind's like. If it's too bad, then I think I can scramble back around the corner or round the corner to where I fished the other week, and that might be a bit more sheltered. If not, then I've got my other rod, which is a Sensi Graphex lure rod, and I can chuck some slightly heavier lures around with that. See what this is like. I've got a little 5 gram metal tied on. Wow, really chucked that 5 gram lure out. I think the water around here is too shallow for this. I can't cast any sort of distance. Give it another go. If not, then we'll need to make a move because I'm really keen to get some fish on this rod. Yeah, I'm going to do as I suggested earlier and get the heavier gear out. Find where if there's any deep water here. Because at the minute I bent one of the trebles. I am just snagging rock and it's not very deep. If I can hit the bottom in 5 seconds with this, then that's not deep at all. I've got the 9'6" Sentry and I've got a 20 gram lazy lure. I think it's called a Bomb Squad lure. And what I've done is, like I do with all of my sort of shad type lures like this with the set jig heads, this has got a little hook in the bottom, stops the body from sliding off, but all I've done is just add a little bit of super glue between the head and the body, just because at this time of year the fish kind of snatch at the lures a lot, and if they're constantly doing that and this moves, then it just rips the body. So probably doesn't need it, but I'm tight. so I'm trying to make the body last as long as I can. Yeah, not feeling it. Let's make a move. All right, let's go. Got the tools, may as well use them, eh? So that's where I fished last time. We're apparently on this cliff here, and you can see the contour lines are much further away from the shoreline here. Hopefully I can get round this corner and back to where I was the other day. Huh. Hi. Hey! That's where I was fishing the other day. Well, it's like a totally different mark compared to the other week. Caught fish on my first cast there. There's a much bigger tide, and the tide's a lot lower than it was then. To be fair though, soft plastics outfished the metals that week, so maybe it should be on the soft plastic instead of this little metal. Oh, this rod's so much warmer to fish with. Insulated foam handles, much nicer than that skeleton handle on there. Oh, I keep saying it's so shallow, but I fished here the other week, but I don't remember it being this shallow. The water was just maybe a few inches below this little pedestal I'm standing on. It's probably 2 meters lower, but it seems to have made a massive difference Obviously the fishing is nowhere near the same. I think I'll have a few more trucks with this lure, stick a metal on, fish at range, and if that doesn't work then I'm going to move to a different place completely where I know I've fished it a lot more. The only problem is a big fat greedy seal, which the last time I was there was nicking me fish. Oh, finally! Yes, we've got a fish! Oh! Oh, that was a good hit. Not messing around with this one. It's only a wee, but well, first fish of the day. I've lost 3, had a few hits. Seem to have found them. They're quite. I'm just casting parallel to the shore. Oh, there's a lure straight out. Small one, but I'll take it. Perfect re-entry. I'm going to try the little lure again. Got the drag locked as tight as I dare with this. This metal's no good. Not today. Let's give this Ned rigged craw a go. This is dark, so it's got a darker profile against the murky water as well. I'm surprised at how far this little 6-foot rod chucks those lures. Well, that's what I think I need to do, is stop mucking around with these different lures. I've caught on a paddle tail. I've had all my hits on a paddle tail, so it makes sense to stick a paddle tail on. I haven't used these for ages. The slider from America. Oh, there we go. Go on, up you get. Look at this little thing bend. Whoa. Oh, yeah. It's bigger than the last one. Got ya! Ah, it's good to have the net back. Did you see that thing bend? It's quite a nice fish. There we go. So that's 4-pound braid, and I've got a 10-pound leader on it. And that's about £3. It is a lovely, lovely pristine fish. Go on, get out my net. There we go, and it's away. Yes, mission accomplished. Yes. So just to go through this again, we've got a 6'2". It's called an Abu Garcia Vertis Sensi-S. and it's rated from 3 to 14 grams. I've got £4 braid on there and £10 leader, and that's a 7-gram jig with a 3-inch slider shad. Oh, and I forgot to mention the reels are an H2O rockfish. They call it a 1000 size, but I think it's probably closer to like a Shimano or a Daiwa 2000 size. Oh, lush. Turned into a lush night. Still a bit breezy here on the headland. As you can see in the main bay, there's actually no wind at all. Still tempted to move. Well, I've got maybe an hour left of daylight. A bit more. A couple of hours left. The fishing's pretty slow here, as you've seen. So I think what I'm going to do is pack up and head around the corner. It should probably take us 25 minutes or so, but we're on slack water now and the current's finished, and it's just, the water's like 4 foot deep or so, so it's guessing really because the last session was really good, but it wasn't low tide, it was over around high tide, so maybe the fish move out as the water shallows out, which is kind of what I'm getting at, but in a long-winded roundabout way. That was the bottom, not a fish. Oh, for a moment there. It'd be really handy if I could just scramble around the shoreline, but I know there's a big cave there which is going to block the route around. It's not ideal. Let's see if we can get there before dark. I've got to go up here, up, and then over there to where you can see the kind of the current lines finishing, or ends. Ooh, that was nearly an expensive mistake. So that's where I came down. I think what I'll do is I'll go up here and traverse along. Gained height pretty quickly. Instagram post. Oh, I might have snow. It was actually snowing on the way in. It wasn't an Instagram pose either, she was just stretching with this spectacular view. Well, I can't feel any seal. See any seals. There's no current running either, but it's actually a good time to catch a wrasse, I think. Don't really care, I just want to get another fish on that light rod. If you're wondering why I don't use the rope, it's not to show off or anything like that. It is because I didn't put it there, so I don't know what it's like in terms of the anchors that it's attached to, how long the rope's been there, if there's any damage in it. Maybe I'm a bit of a control freak, but I can trust myself a little bit more than I can with something that's an unknown quantity. Another thing as well, if you do come to these types of places and you're not used to this sort of terrain, then I would recommend never sliding on your bum. It sounds weird, but basically if it's too steep that you can't go down forwards, then you should be going down backwards with your face against the rock or the cliff, because if you're sitting on your bum and you slip, then you've got absolutely no way of stopping yourself, whereas because you cannot reach behind yourself, if that makes sense, you can't reach behind and grab something, whereas if you're facing forwards with your face against a cliff and things, then much easier to grab something. Or if you're like me with a big chin, then your chin can grab something as well. Oh. Current is now moving from the right to the left, which isn't ideal. The reason why this spot fishes quite well is because the current actually flies past here so strong. I think there's 9 tide lines or current lines that come in through here, and the fish sit in the eddy here. But with the water moving the other way, then they're not really hiding anywhere. And I don't have an eddy to fish in because I cannot fish on the other side. So this light lure, yeah, I might have made a boo-boo here. Yeah, my lure's already out that way. Oh, 4-pound braid's pretty strong. There's me mate the seal. That snow cloud's getting closer, so decided to give up on the LRF rather than tying a new leader and things. Fishing in this current's just not gonna happen really. So I'll try the heavier kit. Hit from underneath. So I tied a new lure clip on, and I've got a slightly different colour of Lazy Lures Bomb Squad. You feel and see the thumps of the paddle tail on this lure, from this lure on the rod. Moves a massive amount of water for quite a small lure. Right, come on then, Zen. Catch us a fish. Gone right to the danger zone with that. It's awkward casting here with a long rod. And I got a treble on. Oh, what? Well, I hooked a fish there for sure. Spat the hook straight into a snag. So the fish are behind that rock. Well, a fish is. I know the wind noise will be horrific on this camera, but I have to be very, very careful on these rocks. Oh, they're freezing with that sleet. It's going to be pretty awful when I get up over the top here and into the wind. Well, obviously we got that shot, and not the best day of fishing I've ever had, but not the worst either. I caught a couple of fish, christened a new rod, caught a first fish on a new rod, and it was exactly what I was after. I wanted to catch a reasonable Pollack on that light rod, and did you see that thing bend? It was giggling like a giggling thing. So yeah, maybe shouldn't have made the move to that second mark, but yeah, it's better to regret something you have done than something you haven't done, I think. it would have been niggling in my mind. If I'd had a poor time down at that first place that I fished, then I would have been constantly thinking, oh, what was it like at the other place? What was it like at the other place? And but now I know, and I can just regret that I went there, and I'll know for next time. I'll remember again, don't go down there on the flood. But yeah, not, like I say, not the most fish in a video I've ever produced, but I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. So if you did, please leave a comment. That would be absolutely great, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Give the video a thumbs up as well, and if you haven't already, subscribe for us. That would be fantastic. And until the next one, tight lines.